What's going on, everyone? It is another episode of Kick Back and Relax, part of the LeftSide Heavy Podcast, presented by Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jeff Lefebvre, and on this episode, I was more than happy to bring on the Royal Oak Band, the official Royal Oak, that is. And it was more than a fantastic interview. It was amazing. I've been looking forward to having them on for a super long time. And it wasn't the longest episode, but it was an amazing episode. We talked about the tours that they've went on, kind of where they started, how they got together, some funny stories. There's lots of laughs in this episode. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. If you're listening, head to YouTube so you can watch LeftSide Heavy, subscribe, like, comment, turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. And that is my mom during for a soccer game. So anyways, I'll let you guys get to the episode. Make sure to leave a rating and review on everywhere where you get your podcasts. And here's Royal Oak. Enjoy. It's episode 90 of LeftSide Heavy, the podcast, the 18th installment of this Kickback and Relax series presented by Blue Wire Network. I'm your host, Jeff Lefebvre, and I got a very, very special group of guys on this episode. The Royal Oak Band, Vancouver-based indie pop band, formed in 2014. How we doing, boys? We got Austin Ledyard, Brayson Wong, Michael Cradgell, and Miles Philpott. How we doing, boys?
We're doing
Great.
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. I was very sleep deprived this past week, and I finally got a good night's sleep last night, so I'm all ready to go.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Right on.
What's that like?
Yeah,
Jevin, I just have to do this before we get started. The meeting started recording, and your face is covered by a thing, and now it's not. So let's continue.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm the main, I'm the face of the podcast.
Well,
so
we gotta see your face while you
Exactly.
ask these questions, while we chat.
True.
Exactly. But I've been wanting to get you guys on for a while, and I didn't know when the time was going to come, and then I scrolled into Miles' TikTok live. He was doing a little Q&A. And I was like, you know what? I'll reach out to him now. And then next thing you know, a couple days later, we're here right now.
It all worked out.
We're
Yeah, I
here.
remember that. He was just like, "Oh, I need to have you guys on the podcast." And I remember on the live, I was like, "Hell yeah!" and I tried to get people to go over check out the pod.
I got a
And now
couple
here we are.
followers from that. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
everything
nice.
Miles touches is gold.
Thanks, TikTok.
Shout out TikTok. But you guys, I really like what you guys have done so far. You guys have been killing it. But I want to kind of go back to the beginning and how it all started. How did Royal Oak form, and like just what was the original reach out? Who kind of kickstarted it, and just overall, how did it all happen?
Well, if we have to like backpedal a lot.
This is a loaded question.
It is a loaded
It is a loaded
because
question.
it all started first with when I started playing drums, because that's basically how it. So I started playing instruments, I started playing drums, and then I went to Brayson. I was like, "Hey, actually, you, what did I say to you? You said it best."
we were really into music, and Miles was like, "Let's start a band." I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "You should play the bass." I was like, "I don't know what that is, but sure."
Yeah, and then so from there, me and Brayson would just play in my bedroom at my old house, and we just played nonstop. Welcome to the Black Parade, My Chemical Romance was our favorite tune to play over and over again. And then from there, we did some rock school stuff. We played with our friend Richard for a little bit. Then we had some other iterations of a band. We had a singer for a while, and then couple years later, Austin joined us in high school, right?
It's true.
And then
Like early high school.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we formed a trio called the Reprise, and that was just your dad rock, your modern rock.
It wasn't that modern, actually.
I'd say it was pretty modern for what it was, for how it sounded.
It was only modern because you guys were like 15.
yeah. True.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, and then from there it was we played a bunch, and then we needed to expand our sound, and we're like, we need another guitar player, so we added a guy named James, and we played with him for a couple of years, and he was like, you know what, this isn't exactly for me, but he really helped us change our sound from more rock to like alternative.
Yeah.
And then so when he left, we're like, what do we do?
Well,
And
you know what
then-
we did? Enter Mike.
I was about to say,
Unwilling
to
entered
participate.
Entered
Yeah.
Mike.
And how did that go? I always love hearing this. Didn't you? Basically, you're supposed to be a temporary.
Yeah,
right?
so I knew you guys from high school. We had played in like cover bands and in Rock the Fox at our high school, and they were like, "Oh, James is leaving the band, and we have a show coming up. Can you like come play this gig?" Sure, no problem. So I learned all the parts, show up, play the gig, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have another one in August." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do that too." And then here I am, like 7 years later,
Yeah.
and thousands of dollars later.
I specifically remember at one point, we had on our Facebook page at the time, back when everybody used Facebook. We had Mike listed in our about page as a Green Day fourth member because they have like a extra guitar player. He used to play behind stage. I think he plays.
I think he plays with.
He's
He played
official now.
behind
Yeah.
stage.
He has
That's
stage,
so sad.
he has stage fright.
Oh, yeah. But you don't. That's why we kept you. So yeah, for a while we had Mike listed as Green Day fourth member, and then I remember one specific day. I don't know what prompted it, but I went and edited our Facebook page, and I deleted that and just wrote in guitar/vocals. And I was like, that's
how I
it.
found out
Yeah,
that I
it's
was
like,
in the
hey,
band.
Mike, we updated the Facebook page. Check it out.
And that basically took us to not where we are today, but that's how the band started. And then here we are making music 7 years later still.
It's kind of like on like NHL trade deadline when like some players find out on Twitter that they've been like dropped from the team.
Oh,
They're
yes.
like-
100%.
It's like
It's
my-
exactly like that.
I'm assuming you guys all have access to the Facebook page. So Mike just went to go check like the notifications or whatever inbox feed. And then it just noticed that he's not a Green Day fourth member anymore. He's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Honestly, it probably was like that for like, when would you ever gone in to look? It was probably like that for a while, and then you probably just went in one day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We just plucked Mike straight out of free agency.
Yeah.
He's like, he was on the waiver wire and like a bunch of teams were bidding and he just saw you guys.
Yeah. And we got him.
Yeah, that's true.
We got him.
What can I say?
So you guys came up with the Reprise, but then soon after you had to change your name. So can you just explain that debacle and like kind of how that went down?
I'll
debacle.
take this one. To be honest, Jevon, it was very anticlimactic. Basically, when our sound kind of shifted to a new style, we were like, okay, well, this isn't the same band anymore. We have a new member, a new sound. We need to shift things and make the change. So at that time, I was going to audio school, and I was on the SkyTrain every day. Full of self-loathing, and so. I was just going home, I think, from school one day, and we were trying to come up with a band name. And I kind of just looked up and I saw that we were at the station called Royal Oak. And I was like, that's okay. And it stuck. It's literally it.
simple.
Yeah. I texted the guys. I'm like, what do you guys think of Royal Oak as a band name? I think everyone was like, yeah, it's not bad. and we kept it.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
I do like to think, because I don't dislike the name Royal Oak,
Yeah.
but I wasn't in the band at that point, and I like to think that if I was in the band, I probably would have vetoed it.
Probably.
But no, it works. I feel like it really fits the sound. Like it's got that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
pop alt.
Especially with the new branding, like seeing it in the new font
Yeah.
and everything. That really does it for me,
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I completely agree because I started this podcast. I was trying to come up with a name. I didn't know what to do because didn't want to stick to like just hockey. I kind of wanted to venture out into other stuff. So I didn't want to just make it so centered around that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do like Healthy Scratch Pod because it's kind of a cool name, like whatever.
Mhm.
And then I released 2 episodes under that name. Then I look and on Google, I just do a Google search, and then there's already like a podcast with that name. And I'm like, okay, well now I don't know what to do.
yeah.
But then I remember I posted a picture, a hockey picture. And Austin, your brother is the inspiration behind the name because he commented LeftSide Heavy. And at first I didn't know what the hell that meant. But so I sent him a text and I was like, what does this comment mean? And he's like, when you have a letter on your jersey, it's like heavier on the left side. So we call it left side heavy. It's just a dumb hockey thing. And I'm like, but I like it. So then I just stuck with it. And that's the name of left side
That's
heavy.
really
So,
good.
so just like you looking at a SkyTrain name, I just looked at an Instagram comment and I'm like, there it is.
Sometimes that's just how it goes. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I think we Googled and there were other Royal Oaks, and we're just like, fuck it. We'll get bigger than them.
Yeah.
We'll just be better.
Instead of caring about SEOs, we basically are just like, no, we're just gonna plow the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also have this kind of like online friendship with a band called Royal Oaks. From where are they from?
Atlanta.
Georgia. So they're called Royal Oaks, and we like follow each other on Instagram, and time to time we'll just like
randomly to each other. We'll just be like, and through DMs, we'll just be like, "Sup?"
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, "Oh, not much. How's it going?" And they'll like send us a photo back of them like eating chips or being like just eating chips, and we'll be like, "Sick."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like the weirdest but funniest like casual online relationship.
We should reach out to them.
should
It's been a
reach out
while.
to them.
It's been a
I
while.
miss those guys.
I miss those guys that we've never met before.
Should I get him on the pod? Just do back-to-back episodes.
Back
of
to
Royal
back?
Oak?
The first time we've ever.
But instead it's like I just put an S at the end. It's like it's a little bit different, guys. It's a little bit different.
Totally different.
Episode 90S.
True.
It's like a new iPhone.
Yeah. But so you guys are saying there's another Royal Oak, a bunch of Royal Oaks out there, but it's almost like the Pitbull interview when he was having an interview and they were like, so like why Pitbull, like, and he was like, well, I've gotten so big that now my name comes up before the dog. And then everyone was just like, oh shit. So it's like you guys just gotta have that mentality. Like we just gotta be better than the rest.
Exactly, and that's what keeps us driving. I mean, I don't know if that reason alone is like we gotta beat all the
That
other
reason
Royal Oaks.
alone.
It's purely just to get that just get the first like SEO spots. That's the only reason we're pushing this band.
Yeah, that brand of charcoal briquettes can suck it.
Oh yeah, that's
That's awesome.
But good on you for keeping the SEOs in mind, because we certainly didn't.
Yeah, I was just like, just in case anything happens, like they just come at me for some like dumb reason. I'm like, I'll just stick it to this one, and I like this one better than the original one I came up with. So
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
it sounds good for sure.
yeah, so I'm happy I changed. But I want to go back to like your roots for a bit, and I guess not necessarily the roots, but Rock the Fox. I remember just as a casual student who knew obviously Austin, I was like, that's my cousin up there, like fuck yeah.
That's right.
Like, you guys put on an absolute clinic whenever you guys came on, but what was the experience like, just like start to finish? Because I'm assuming you did it like all years of high school that you were in there. You're like, oh, like,
What was the experience like?
we did it all years, and then as
More.
extra as we could.
Yeah.
Like we would take basically, and saying it's the music teacher was always on our side. So I mean, the experience, it was great. It was fundamental in this band happening.
Yeah, if we didn't get that kind of like stage experience and that kind of like firsthand education on putting on a show and what it takes to put on a show, I don't think we'd be the same band.
No,
Not at all.
no, like definitely not. And also just learning so many different types of music too.
Yeah.
Especially I remember Brayson, the first semester we ever go in there, you're in like what, 8 or 9 bands?
9 bands, yeah.
Like
my
this
God.
fresh grade 9 comes in, and for some reason everyone's just like, you play.
I don't know.
Play guitar, play guitar and bass.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Sure, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I'll do. I
So-
wonder.
But like when
Well,
you
that-
guys got the sets on like what you were supposed to do for that year, like how did that go about? Did Sanus let you pick like 4 to 5 songs or like a certain band that you wanted to cover?
Yeah, so
like
we'd actually pick it at the very first day of class. Everyone would like sit in a circle, and you'd do like, this is my name, this is the instrument I play, and like I like so and so kind of music. And then he would basically just let everyone mingle and like form bands. It's like when the teacher says make a group project, and you like always go
Yeah.
for the like best students,
Yeah.
but you could have multiple group projects. And
Which you would never want in any other class.
No, Yeah,
You're not
sure.
gonna feel like, damn, I got 6 group
Yeah.
projects this semester.
but obviously,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the more the merrier, the more bands you got to be in, and people would be like, oh, I want to do a Red Hot Chili Peppers band with these people, and I want to do, and somehow I always just end up doing bands with these people. Like it was just like, especially Austin. I think like pretty much every band that I ever did, Austin was also in.
Yeah.
But I that just reminded me of, so basically the teacher would hand out these like sheets, and he'd be like, oh, singers get the sheets and the singers get to pick the band, because singers don't play any other instruments.
Yeah.
So if you're a singer, you get a sheet, you write the name of the people in your band, and there we go. And one year, this guy Brandon from our class took one of the sheets and ran down the hall, and he photocopied it like 10 times. So because there was supposed to be like a finite number of bands. And he went and photocopied like 10 more copies, and at the end of the day, the teacher has like 30 different bands, and they'd like figure out which ones were real and which ones were you guys not in that
I
class?
didn't know that.
No,
No,
hilarious.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah, we were honest though, we didn't do that.
Yeah. I think like the other thing that's maybe like a bit of a juxtaposition in terms of like what you see on stage, because you think like, oh man, like they work like so hard for this, you know, like they're so in the game or whatnot. And it's like, we did work hard, you know, for those shows and whatnot, because they meant a big deal to us. But like behind the scenes, it was so casual. Everyone cared, but at the same time, it was just classic high school students where everyone would just be kind of like doing whatever, and then Mr. Sanders, our music teacher, be yelling us to do stuff. We'd be like, who cares?
Yeah.
And then-
Yeah.
yeah.
It was basically like there were 2 big rooms that bands could jam in, and then a bunch of practice rooms. And if we weren't in one of the big rooms, you probably wouldn't find us in that
We were just at
class.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
We're at McDonald's, but I mean, it's important to note that we also had musical talent like coming into it, so our experience would have been a lot different for people that were actually, because there were people that would actually go into rock school and learn how to play
as their first
instruments,
time, yeah.
and then by the end they're like playing on stage in front of people, which is absolutely crazy. So
yeah.
we can't basically be like, oh, it was all casual, everyone was like this, because there were people who we would go in there and they'd go into practice rooms, they'd be practicing all the time and stuff. It just kind of, for us, it was not like a free pass or anything, but
You
like
guys
it was
you guys already knew your potential, so it's like we don't really need to like use this practice hour to like, we already know what we can and can't do. So
yeah, and we had the resources too, right? Like we
Yeah.
had our own instruments and everything, and like there's so many people that didn't have that, right? So you come to this school and like you have all these different guitars, you can use all these basses, a full-on recording lab. So we were really lucky to be able to have that kind of experience. And for other people that would have never been able to even think about playing music or even be on a stage, for them too, it would have been super cool. And I feel like that gets overlooked a lot
Oh yeah.
with Rock the Fox.
Especially for us.
Exactly. And I think it's an important thing to highlight.
We were just like, cool, a room for us to play music in during
Yeah.
lunch, and also B block and D block. And yeah, like
Yeah. But overall experience was very good. A lot of our showmanship would have come from that program.
Because it's like not very often, especially in like the bar scene nowadays in Vancouver, it's like you don't always get the opportunity to just play, you know, have a huge theater stage.
No.
Yeah,
with
it's
people,
true.
with
It's
people
true.
there.
Good people.
Like
Yeah,
a
like-
sold out.
It was literally a
For theater.
built-in sold-out crowd of 300 like 30 people or something like
Yeah.
that, and you're playing a theater. Like that doesn't happen very often. I mean, for us, we get the opportunity to play some of the, you know, larger stages in Vancouver, but like, you know, for the average like bar band who wants to play like whatever, you know, stages are cramped. So you once you kind of graduate and you no longer in that like larger kind of stage, you really miss it. So that really gave us the literal room to kind of grow our
Yeah.
stage presence. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's not always something you can afford to do when you're cramped, like on a small little bar stage in like the corner of like, I don't know, bistro or something.
Yeah, definitely. And we've done that.
because also Rock the Fox, it's an opportunity where like you're almost guaranteed like a full crowd, because
Yeah.
teachers would be like we're going to go watch it, like I'm monitoring you to make sure that you're in line to come watch. And so you're already like getting that opportunity to perform in such a big crowd, so like it's giving you the almost not peak but like a taste of like what you could be doing past Rock the Fox. So it gives that
True.
kids
That's
a
true.
bit more sense of urgency, right?
That is,
And-
that's
but like it keeps you guys pushing. Obviously, that's what motivated you guys to be where you are today. Like you said many times over, but it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
But so you guys had in 2017, you went on the younger tour through BC and Alberta. That was your first tour, if I'm not mistaken. So how was that? Just like the first time traveling across different areas to like perform your music to people. It must have been like an amazing experience, but I want to kind of hear in depth about how it was.
Yeah. No, okay. That's the way we approached that. Sounded very like, I don't know. No. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Like as a first experience of a tour, I don't think we could have had a better time. Like it was our first tour. So, you're not, it's not like a crazy amount of draw. You're not selling out arenas or anything. But I think it was a great introduction to tour because it showed us like the fun that you can have and like the little moments that become inside jokes years down the line. So in short, it was absolute debauchery, but it was great.
Yeah, it was like simultaneously not at all what I expected and then like exactly what I expected. Like I think you go into it hoping for people to come out to your shows, right? But A, this is our first tour. No one's ever heard of us. B, we're playing in Nelson, BC on a Wednesday. And that's pretty much all you need to know to know that like there were shows where we just played to empty rooms.
Oh yeah.
But there were also shows that we played even on that first tour, like Calgary. We had like a room full of people, right? We ended up we booked 3 bands for a show in Calgary, and then the promoter also booked 3 bands. And so we showed up and there were 7 bands playing at this bar, and so everyone had like 20-minute sets, and it was just like it was the craziest thing, but like it was so much fun. The owner was like buying us shots. It was just crazy. The most fun though.
It was a lot of fun. And then you have like the other aspects where you buy an absolute shit box of a van, and we called it the ship.
We
called it.
We called it.
Who knows where it is?
I know who knows where that thing is. This big white E350 Econoline. AC broke. We would drive with the windows like open, and we'd have to wear earplugs because it was so damn loud.
Yeah, we learned a lot real quick.
And then there was a Bose. We had a Bose to play music, a Bose speaker in the middle, like strapped down
on top of our cooler.
But do you remember? Because the car didn't have alarms or anything, so we would take the Bose when we weren't in the car and we'd put it on the dashboard because it had a blinking blue light. So, so people would think that it was an anti-theft mechanism. We had like $10,000 worth of gear in the car, and there's just this little speaker blinking.
I forgot about that.
I did too. That's so funny.
Stupid. Just
I
we were young and dumb.
But
I spent tons of money on an anti-theft thing when I could just put a Bose speaker there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
lucky the Bose didn't get stolen.
Here at Royal Oak, we only use our big rigid brains. That's all we do.
Big rigid
brains. No smooth brains in this band.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder. No,
exactly.
Got it.
Oh, sorry. Brains with ridges.
Yeah.
Not like hard.
Yeah, that's.
I guess I maybe should have changed my verbiage. I digress. You know what I meant.
It was a good experience overall.
It was a great experience. Yeah.
What was like? So obviously traveling in that. Did you guys go from like hotel to hotel, or did you
Oh God, we'd be so broke if we did that.
Did you just sleep in the van, like traveling city to city, or?
We never slept in the van other than like while we were in it.
Yeah,
like other than the driver.
Yeah.
But we were so lucky to like, because we just did BC Alberta, we had friends or family pretty much everywhere we went. Like we stayed with Austin's it was like a family friend in Calgary.
Yeah.
We stayed with our friend Hamilton in Calgary also.
He wasn't in Edmonton yet.
Yeah. Anyway,
one on the way there.
Right, one on the way there, one on the way back.
Yeah.
But we had friends and family pretty much everywhere that we went, which was like such a blessing that people with these 5, I guess, because our roadie Luke was with us.
Mm-hmm.
These 5 raggedy, smelly boys just like sleeping on their floor.
Usually in tank tops, shorts, and flip flops.
Yeah,
With a
summer.
that smells faintly like cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Faintly.
There was also this one in Nelson where we stayed at some dudes. Like
The owner of the venue was like, "Oh yeah, I have these 2 RVs outside of town that I let bands sleep in."
just
We were
in
like,
his front yard or
"Okay."
something like that.
And so after the show, we just like drive to this abandoned field in Nelson in this like sketchy trailer, and that's where we slept that night.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them. I remember Luke after he's like, I was so scared. I couldn't sleep. He was just, it's like, was it really that bad? Like, yeah, it was kind of weird, but he was just like, I thought I was gonna get murdered.
Yeah, we were joking. We're like, this is the night we die. Haha, JK. Unless.
Yeah, unless it's like your chances of it happening are like not 0, but
They're not 0
Yeah,
It was
so-
not 0.
The guy was so nice though.
He was
super
he
nice.
He was harmless.
in hindsight. Yeah,
Could have kept up his trailers a little bit more, but
I mean, it's a free trailer.
Hey,
whatever.
we had a place to sleep.
That's
Yeah.
true.
had a
But
place to lay your head down.
exactly. But for everything else, other than that, and we've done this a lot, even for our last 2 tours. We camp.
Yeah.
We'll find campsites and we'll just camp someplace for the night. We bring a tent with us everywhere.
That's the most efficient, I think.
It is the cheapest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta save money.
Exactly.
Gotta save money. Exactly. So yeah, like a couple years later in August, the August tour 2019, you guys went on tour with, forgive my pronunciation, but Chersey?
You got it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Wow.
That's it.
Unlike all
Wow.
the on that tour, everyone announcing her called her Chersey, as if she was like some
I
weird
was
tribute
so
act.
close to saying that, but I went the other way. It was a
Oh, yeah, you killed
50-50
it.
shot. So I'm just gonna sign off now. I gotta end on a high note.
All right. Thank you for
so-
watching this episode of Left Side Heavy.
Guys, let people know where they can find you. No, how was that experience? Because you guys went up to and went like across Canada to like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Quebec. I'm sure that experience must have been a little bit more like
That was-
just another level, I assume.
It was good. It was a good tour, but I felt like, well, I wouldn't say but they kind of kept us in check because the last tour we were a bit more debaucherous, I would say.
Yeah, we also got to keep in mind we had already done a cross Canada tour before we did that one. So we had one in 2018. Was it?
2018,
We did
yeah.
3 years in a row. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, I know.
So in 2018, we had the Pretend Tour. So that was our first like real cross Canada one. And then we did this one as well. So for the 2019 one, we learned a lot from the 2018 one.
My apologies. I didn't see that. I didn't see the pretend tour.
It's all
That's-
good.
Oh, hey,
My
it's all
bad.
good. I mean, hey, it's hard. There's a lot of, apparently we do a lot of stuff, I
Yeah.
guess.
There's a lot of people who didn't see that tour either. So
Yeah, because exactly what Mike was saying, that's actually a perfect point, because what Mike was saying before about like the empty rooms, there's Western Canada and then there's all of Canada, right? So
Yeah.
big difference.
I mean, but also we made so many friends on that
Yeah.
first tour that when we came around for the second tour, like we had bands we could reach out to, we had places we could stay, and we had somehow a worse van. Yeah, we didn't
We were
pick
0 for
them.
2 on
We were 0
on
for 2.
transportation.
0 for 2 on transportation.
I wouldn't call it worse,
It was a minivan.
but it had all the amenities. It had the windows. It had the radio.
True, and we
it
did
had AC.
duct tape a little TV to the thing between the
Yeah.
driver's and passenger seat. And we played GameCube in the van. That's true.
yeah, that's true.
It
That's
did have all the
amazing.
amenities.
You know you got to make those 8-hour drives worth it, because when
Of
you're driving
course.
from like Calgary to Regina, it's not fun.
But
Oh, I
also
know.
in the on the 2018 tour, we had 5 dudes in a Ford Windstar with
That's true.
all of our gear. Like I remember people would be like, "Oh, who's sitting on the right side or whatever?" Because if you're sitting in the back, you had to have like one ass cheek like just on the seat, and then the other one was just like hanging off, and you're just like, oh, like driving for so
For
long.
like 11 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the back of the van is just like dropping it low. Like
Yeah.
that thing was backside heavy.
And that's been this episode of the Left Side Heavy Podcast. No, okay.
Oh
good.
my god!
It's really good.
That was great.
But,
Yeah.
There's your
A
episode.
round of applause.
Yeah. But you asked about the 2019 tour with Church, and it was such a different experience because it was the first time that we'd ever toured with another artist. And we actually took 2 cars, which was obviously like it had to happen. We wouldn't have all
Had to
fit,
happen.
but there was such a different energy with 2 cars because it was always like a convoy.
Yeah.
Of like okay, well we'll meet you here, like, and like just kind of trying to coordinate that, or like be like, okay, well Bryson will go sit in the car with Chersey, and then like the 3 of us will be in here, or like we would just kind of switch around, which was fun. It led to like different kind of combinations, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to have like other people to go through that whole tour with. That
Yeah.
weren't just like
It's like
Us?
sharing it with our friends.
yeah, exactly,
Shares the
as opposed
pain.
to our
Sharing the pain.
non-friends,
Yeah.
business friends.
So
Yeah,
what
but
kind
it
of
was-
energy did she bring to it? The tour,
lot.
like, has she done a cross Canada tour before, like kind of like you guys,
I
or
don't
was she
think
brand
we-
new to it?
She did with the band, didn't she?
She's yeah.
Like years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't under her own name, but she played trumpet and keys, I think, with another band
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
took her across, and she had like a van, like a real,
Like a bus.
like
Yeah, it was like a
tour
bus.
Like she slept in the
like
bus.
a Hong Kong pick you up for school like kind of bus, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
like a school bus.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this
that's
was
the thing. That's the one.
this was a
What? You know the
A
bus that
Hong
picks-
Kong pick you up.
Oh, Hong
bus.
Kong. I thought you said Hong Kong.
Oh.
What are
no,
those
that's my
buses?
heard
bus.
that
That's
one.
my dad's bus.
For context, Brayson's dad is a local bus driver.
Yeah, and he's also Chinese, Hong Kong.
Yes.
Anyways.
What are those
Anyway.
buses that pick you up for school called?
What was I saying?
Chersey,
Oh
trumpet.
so this was definitely a downgrade for her, but she still brought so much positive energy to the tour that it was just like it was great, because Austin and I were honestly going through a rough time at the time.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Right.
Yeah,
Romantically.
romantically,
Not with each other.
romantically. So yeah.
each other.
I just got
I know. They were going through a tough time romantically. It sounds like you guys were like
yeah, me
fucking
and Brayson
couple.
had a rough patch, but we've really
We,
Yeah,
Figured it out.
you guys have really come back
Um,
together.
Yeah. And we should also mention that that Chersey brought another musician with her as well.
Mhm.
So our now like great friend Ocean
Mhm.
also came with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like honestly having a little bit of like feminine energy on the tour was great.
yeah.
It was like not just to like, it was just for like a change of scenery,
Yeah,
like it
in
was
check.
it was just
Change of pace.
yeah.
Just like the vibe's different. No, I totally understand that. It's just something different. Something
The
different.
vibe,
about-
yeah, the vibe is definitely different, but also kind of the same, because a lot of times we'd be in the same van. Like there was still all the same old tour shit that would happen.
We took
Yeah.
the same van we had on our 2018 tour. For some reason, we thought it was a great idea to take it on tour again.
Well, it had a fresh transmission in it because it blew on the 2018 tour. So yeah, so we had a fresh transmission. We were ready to go,
Yeah,
but
then
it,
the AC went.
then
Instead.
the AC went and somebody drilled 2 holes in the ceiling.
Oh, and didn't the driver's side window not roll
Yep,
down? And then
that
so
all-
that one time that Austin got pulled over, he was like, "Hold on, officer," and he had to open the door.
I got pulled over. I was driving. We were in Hope. We were on our way back like in BC to our last show in Vancouver. We hadn't gotten pulled over the entire time, and so I get pulled over outside of Hope, and so I'm freaking out because I'm like, is the cop gonna like point a gun at me and tell me to get on the ground when I try to like open the door? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
like
yeah.
overthinking it a lot. So I just like I think the cop came up to the door, like knocked on it, and I just like said through the window, I said, our window doesn't work. Is it okay if I open the door?
I'm not
Very
even
considerate.
I'm not even joking to you. I had the same thing happen to me on my
Did you?
Civic. I was DDing on New Year's. I was like driving my friends to a party,
Good guy.
and a cop pulls me over. And I wasn't like worried about anything. I was like, I did nothing wrong. Like he was just basically pulling me over to try and like catch me that I was like,
Yeah.
drunk driving, but like I was
Yeah.
completely fine. But he knocked on my window, and I'm like, bro, I tried to open it. He's like, hey, just like open up the window. Like, I'm like, can't. Like I can't open the window. It doesn't work. And he's like, okay, step out.
He's like, okay, you can go.
With this
then-
time.
Yeah, so then I went up to him. He's like, just like giving you a warning. You gotta get that fixed, or else it's a ticket, because that's literally the only window you need to work is your driver's side door. Is
Right, for
every other
drive-thrus.
one? Yeah, every other one. Yeah, for drive-through specifically. But yeah, I was like, all right, sick. So I went to. That's the only warning that he gave me. But yeah, the anxiety
did you
that
get-
went through my body, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? Like I can't open the window for this guy. But
Sure. Did you end up getting the window fixed?
no, my car was
Honestly,
It's okay, we didn't
same.
either.
We sold it. We sold it with the broken window, so it's chill.
Broken things.
Oh my god, dude, shit box, complete shit box.
No, because I tried
Abs-
fixing it so many times, but I just like couldn't figure it out. And then next thing you know, I was just driving and it just started working one random day.
Classic
was like-
cars.
I was like, all right. And then I was going to get my full license test on my way there. And it stops, didn't go down, but you need to go down to do the arm signal thing. So I asked my dad's client who works there. And I'm like, can I still take it? She's like, nah, you can't. And I'm like, okay, well, nah, I don't know what to do. But then she just gave me her car and I just took her car on.
Oh,
Nice.
there you go.
And I
She
was
obviously
like,
had
fucking
faith
hurts.
in you that you weren't
Yeah.
gonna like crash it.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I feel like this is a bigger, like, I'm breaking the rules more by taking a car I'm not insured on than just having my
Oh, yeah,
window up.
shit.
But I ended up passing the test, so everything's fine.
Woo!
But yeah, what have been your guys' favorite venues you performed at? Like any like experience that separate from the rest that you can think of?
That's a good question.
I really liked Rivoli
Rivoli in Toronto. That was good. Yeah, that was a good spot.
It's kind of like a back room, like in a restaurant. Like you have to go through the restaurant to this back room that's like a venue.
It's like a full ass venue.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
like
it
a
opens
full
up to like
ass-
a big room with a lot of,
Wow.
like a couple hundred cap.
Elevated
Very cool, very
stage
cool
and-
place.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, the Fox is a classic for us.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
we
Yeah.
always have
Here,
in
the Fox
Vancouver, like
Cabaret.
every time we play there, it's
I liked Rainbow.
Rainbow Bistro in
in
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
That
Yeah.
was good. Yeah.
It was like it kind of felt like a bit of like a saloon almost.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
But had this huge tall stage and then like this kind of like round like mosh pit area. That was a
And
good
like
one.
an upper level. It was that place was actually
Good
really
one.
sick. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
What else? What else was there?
The other one that stands out to me is when we played Le Garage in Winnipeg the first time we went through.
that
Because it was like-
that was a hilarious.
We like
time.
tried to book a bigger venue and they were like, no, like you guys aren't big enough. Like here's this smaller venue you should go to. So we booked with them and we packed the place on like a Wednesday night. It was like completely sold out. People couldn't get in.
All his family.
Yeah,
Maybe
all-
your
I
family or
guess-
the other side of the
No,
family.
it's my dad's. It's my dad's
Okay.
side. It's all the Ledbetter clan.
Yeah. So
Literally, my entire dad's side of my family was pretty much there.
and we just like wiped this poor
Wow.
little restaurant out. Like they had like one person working because they didn't think he was going to be there. And it was just like such a memorable night.
Yeah.
Like my favorite memory of that show is our roadie and one of our best friends, Luke. He came with us on our first two tours. Because it was so busy there, he was supposed to be manning sound for us, but then I think during the last band, you Brayson noticed that Luke wasn't there at the soundboard. And Brayson was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna do this. And then Brayson just sees Luke zoom by because the motherfucker started waiting tables.
He was working. He started working and like filling glass and like clearing glasses to the bar just out of nowhere. He's just like,
Bussing,
Yeah,
basically, and
yeah.
serving water.
he started, dude, it was so
it was great.
yeah.
It was great.
funny. Oh my God.
What are what I'll kind of generalize it a bit more, but what are some of your favorite cities that you've performed in, or some of your least favorite cities that you've performed in? That might be a bit easier question to answer.
Don't want to alienate our audience.
I mean, Ottawa's always fun
Ottawa's
because
always
we made friends there the first time we went around. And every time we go, they bring out all their friends and we stay at their house in Gatineau, which is like a 2-minute drive from Ottawa. So you're in Ottawa, you drive for 2 minutes, you're in Gatineau, Quebec, and they have a house there. So we would stay at their house
And party.
and party.
And party.
It's like a a band
Flophouse.
trap house.
Yes.
Band trap house. Kinda.
Yeah.
Also, I can't think of any better way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Ottawa's been really good to us. Calgary's been really good to us.
I like Kelowna.
Kelowna is always a lot of
Always
fun. I don't know. Like it's such a mixed bag because it always depends on like the day of the week that you're there too. Like,
Yeah.
what's the energy like? Is it a weekend versus a weekday? Like,
Yeah.
Because when you guys go and play in the city, are you just in for the night and then as soon as the show's done, you're back on the road, or do you stay there for a bit? Like, is there any city itself that you've like city life, like that kind of thing?
Oh, you know,
Outside
I
of
really,
performing?
Tirana.
I really love Toronto. I really love Montreal.
Yeah.
It's always fun. We always go out when we're in Montreal.
Yeah.
We did once in Ottawa too, I think.
Yes, we did.
Ottawa's actually crazy.
Yeah,
Like
the nightlife's nuts.
it's
Yeah,
like
it's-
we were there on a Saturday and the main drag was busy.
Mhm.
I think it's
Really?
a pretty big college town.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Right.
Probably.
It's all. I mean, it's crazy because like Parliament and college town. But yeah, it was. Ottawa's really nice. Toronto's really nice. I mean, Saskatchewan,
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
Regina, you're
flat.
kind of like,
Yeah.
you get out of the car and it's 42 degrees. Like, I don't know.
It was it was one random day in like Saskatoon when it was like it dropped to like 6 degrees one
Oh
night
my.
in the middle of August in Saskatoon. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Horrifying
it
there.
was really weird.
Yeah. And then we arrive in Regina, it's like 42.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
a
same
week
tour.
later,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's the
it was
exact same
crazy.
tour.
Like, what is happening? I'm not
Saskatchewan,
prepared
that's
for
what's
this.
happening.
Yeah.
It's just all flat, no rules.
Yeah.
Even the weather's like the wild, wild west.
I mean, when all you have is a CFL team, like you're not really.
No, but they go hard for that CFL team though. Like
They
it's
do.
one of like pound for pound, it's one of like the highest grossing like professional teams of like all professional teams.
Because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. They just go hard for that one. And they put all their efforts into it, but
And respect.
yeah, exactly. But as we wrap up here, boys, I just have one last question. You guys can either do it individually or it could be a group effort. But there's been movies like about Elton John. There's one coming out about Elvis. There's been a Queen movie. If you four were to be in a movie about a band or an artist's life, that kind of thing, what
Mhm.
band would you choose? Like, if they were to do like a biography about you guys, or like the band and you had to play them, what band would you choose?
Oh,
Have to
okay.
play
What
Yeah.
band would we play in a movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
Good
That's-
question.
That is good. I was expecting like what actor would play you
I know
in a
I
Royal Oak
already
movie, and I
started
was like, I have
thinking
no
about
idea.
that.
Who would we?
Who would we play?
I'm trying to think of like four. I like to think of like some hilarious modern take on like the Beatles. You know, would be hilarious. But I mean, the Beatles have been so overdone.
Yeah.
But I just think of like the multi-instrumentalism and stuff.
Mhm. What would that be? Wow, that's a great question.
It's so hard to pinpoint it down because I don't want to be like, oh, we're so unique, but like
My struggle is I just don't know bands.
that's
Yeah.
also another thing, right? I mean,
Like I don't know who's
It's-
in whatever band.
My
Yeah.
first thought is like, I don't know, you too, but
It's the only other four piece I could think
You
of.
too,
too.
yeah.
my mind's blanking.
We could be you two.
We could be. Yeah.
Kings
I mean-
of Leon would be an interesting one.
I was gonna say Kings of Leon.
we don't look like brothers.
Yeah. But also I don't think like Kings. They're just very to themselves, aren't they? Like they're very.
It'd be a really boring
Exactly,
documentary.
it'd be a boring movie. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
The Killers.
I was also thinking
The
about the
Killers.
Killers.
Yeah.
The Killers would be
Yeah.
a good one.
That's her answer.
Or even like, but like, come on, we gotta be more fun. Like even like One Direction. If there was another one of us,
it's Luke,
It's Luke.
our
Yeah.
roadie.
Luke, long-haired Luke is definitely Harry
or
Styles.
5 Sauce, 5 Seconds
Five
of
Sauce?
Summer,
Oh, I'd love to be Five Sauce.
because they play
More of
instruments,
a
don't
one
they?
beat.
I'm into
kind of
that.
guy.
I'm into Five Sauce.
Just do Red Hot Chili Peppers and have Austin sing with the shirt off.
Chili Peppers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about Chili Peppers. That would
That would
actually be a
actually
good
be
one.
pretty good.
For a lot, there are a lot of bands out there that consist of 4 people, and we could not think of any of them.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll be Green Day, fourth member.
Wow.
Or just get big enough that they'll just make a movie about you guys and you can play yourselves.
Exactly.
in the movie.
That'd be great.
Hell yeah.
I think I'll still get Chris Pratt to play me.
I could,
I could see
works.
that.
That definitely
Mario,
works.
Garfield, Austin.
No, but like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe like what's his name?
Ken Jeong.
No. Yes, him and Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby
yeah,
Lee.
yeah.
Andrew Garfield.
Oh yeah, easy.
I don't know.
No idea.
No idea.
Corbin Blue.
oh no.
Corbin
Jesse
Blue.
Williams. Jesse Williams. Grey's Anatomy guy.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yes.
hell
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just him.
Exact lookalike.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
We have the
answered a question you didn't ask.
I know we started talking.
No,
Sorry.
but that's a question I ask a lot of my other guests is like, if you had to pick an actor or actress to play you in a movie about your life, who would you pick? But I kind of want to do. So I have asked that question before. So technically you answered it without me asking. So
You're welcome.
Yeah.
you guys are literal rock stars. So guys, this was an amazing episode. I'll give you guys a chance to plug anything you want, where people can find you, any stuff you're working on. About your latest single that you guys released not too long ago, Yearbook.
Yes.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you guys go ahead.
I'll take it.
Take it
I'll
away.
look at each other. I'll take it. You can find us anywhere on social media at Royal Oak Band. I guess one other thing to note, we have a show, our first show in like 2.5 years, our first show since pre-pandemic, coming up next month, April 29th.
That's the one.
At the Biltmore Cabaret here in lovely Vancouver. Feel free to come check it out. Going to be a great time.
Also, a week before, we have a new song coming out.
Which we haven't talked about.
We haven't
yet.
talked about.
Has
but-
been announced. This is an exclusive. We haven't even
Oh.
talked about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we're not gonna give you the name though. We can't do that.
Yeah,
But
you can't give me too much, but
no, but there will be a new song coming out. We also have our own podcast, which we'll have to get you on at some point.
That'd be fun.
Called BANDCHAT. That's on all platforms, and then for music, Spotify, Apple Music, find us there.
Royal Oak,
anything else?
no S.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
S.
No
If you like t-shirts and stuff and hoodies, we got those too.
yeah, 'cause you guys have
Plug everything.
you guys have a website, Royal Oak Band. Is
Dot
it-
com.
.com.
.com.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, if you want to stay up to date with us, Instagram's probably the best place.
But
Guys.
follow us everywhere else too.
Guys, that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. You guys know where to follow me on Instagram at Jevin.Lefave, on Twitter at JevinLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LeftSide Heavy _. And if you're listening to this, but you want to watch it instead, head over to YouTube to LeftSide Heavy and subscribe, like, comment, ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Boys, thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to share this for all the people. You guys are literal rock stars. So thank you so much. And
Thanks
we'll see
for
you
having
guys
Yeah,
next
thanks for having
time.
us on.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. Thanks, Jevin.
I love that. Peace out.